have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution. Join me, Naima Latif, every morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, as we bring you stimulating discussions about the issues affecting our lives. If you're listening online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution, press the blue button that says follow and get our daily topics every morning directly to your email and your smartphone. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, executive producer of the Female Solution radio show. We invite you to call in 515-605-9325 and participate in this daily think tank as we examine the challenges we face and develop solutions that restore peace and harmony. We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangade. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all. What if you could live to be 120 years old and remain active, healthy, alert, and vibrant? Our bodies are made up of cells that are constantly rejuvenating. So if we take proper care of ourselves, we can literally defy aging. Join us every Tuesday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time to learn about self-care from Susan Essentials on the Female Solution Blog Talk Radio Show. Learn how to help your body and your cells feel rejuvenated each day through proper nutrition, sleep, frequency medicine, and many unconventional methods of self-care. I'm Jody Susan. Join me and my amazing guests by calling in at 515-605-9325 and press 1 to speak. We'll help you achieve a breakthrough in your health today.
Well, grand rising, everyone. I am so excited to be here today, every Tuesday morning, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, 8 a.m. Eastern, which is where I'm at now. And today we have Dr. Steven Spencer. He's one of the only holistic naturopathic physicians in the Illinois area who focuses on the person's emotionally, structurally, and biochemically. His is on restoring optimal balance and health through the means of improving structure, diet, sleep, hormones, digestion, and detoxification. Of course, emotional health and exercise performance. This guy is amazing. So if you need to go get a cup of coffee so you can sit tight and listen, do that now. We're talking about the subconscious mind. And I am so pleased to bring him on, Dr. Steven. How are you?
Hi. Good morning, Jody.
So
happy to have me on.
Yeah, so happy to have you. So for the listeners, how you and I met was on Facebook, right?
Yeah. You probably followed some of my posts.
Yeah, because they're so profound, right? You're really getting people to think outside the box. right? We have to think differently than we did the day before if we want to.
It's time to let go of it's time to let go of all the programming that society has done to us. Our parents, our societies, it's time to let that go, because we're all made in God's image. So we create just as in Him. And so that when we put ourselves in these limiting beliefs and these small boxes that we're told we should, we should go to school, we should, get an education, we should marry by this age. Like there's infinite possibilities in this world. And the only thing that holds you back is the programming that's been done from society. And actually, we go back into epigenetics, so we could even say it's from ancestral belief systems that have been passed
all day long,
right?
Like all day long.
Yeah.
And people need to. Let me just expand upon that for a moment. As an intuitive and healer, I call myself a medical intuitive, but I mean, I'm a shaman. I don't really actually know how to label myself, because most of my gifts were downloaded; they were not taught.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Right.
So, and I'm not saying that I don't have teachers. I do. I have teachers all over the planet.
Mm-hmm.
But most of my gifts were just downloaded from the divine. And we have ancestral DNA. Is that a great way to describe that? Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have our past lives. I mean, our beliefs and our thoughts influence our DNA. It used to be the Walter and Crick model in school, and it was, this is what you're born with, this is what you're going to have. And now we know that our beliefs influence our DNA, and that which affects how it signals our cells and how we function, which brings us into health ailments and disease, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why disease in the mind becomes disease in the body. And anytime somebody decides that they want to heal, they can do it. And spontaneous healing happens when we basically find mind-heart coherence.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I don't want to mention this word, so I'm going to let everybody read between the lines. Okay. I had gotten the big CV, mm-hmm. like 19, right? Twice for half a day.
Mm-hmm.
Half a day. And everything people are struggling for weeks or a month and have symptoms. I have zero fear around it. I don't see it as coming into my biofield. Yeah. It's not there.
I never got it once.
Okay, so there you go.
And I didn't wear a mask. And this is why it's the illnesses that come into our life that are actually blessings. They're actually gifts in strange wrapping paper. So when you become ill, you have a health ailment, a pain, a fear, a challenge in your life, it's there for you to overcome it. So in the case of any kind of pathogen, if a host is in the right frequency, that pathogen cannot affect it. So what happens is in a virus, let's say, you have your heart chakra, which the thymus gland lies right in front of that heart chakra. Okay. And when we become in a low frequency and we don't love our neighbors, we don't forgive others, you don't believe in yourself, you don't accept yourself, you don't love yourself, what happens is that heart chakra closes. And the thymus gland produces immunoglobulin A. That's the number one defense mechanism against a pathogen. So it's just the universe giving you a message, right? I'm just the interpreter is all that I am. I know how to talk the strange language of the body.
I love it. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And so, so my husband never got COVID. That thing.
Yeah.
My husband never got sick either. In fact, he's never been sick since I've met him. Ever.
Right.
My nemesis in life has always been my stress levels. So when my stress levels went high, right, my immune system was compromised. So that's always been my lifelong challenge. Release. Mm-hmm. Oh, for God's sakes. Okay, never mind. Got to download. I'm just going to release it today. So let's talk about programming. So and I'm going to just talk about me for a moment. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I've always said that my stress is what has been my nemesis. And actually it was that stress that had me create and find this concept called the place of peace, which is a beautiful experience for people, which we're relaunching this week. So I'm very excited.
Your stress is the universe pushing you to grow.
Oh, yes, it is, right? Because and I'll play the lobster movie if you haven't, or clip, and not a movie, it's a little clip like about 2 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
But what I realized is because I've created the place of peace, which is a solution, right, for stress, not the A. I don't have to have stress be my nemesis anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I can release it and give it to God, because it was a programming, and the programming for me served me because it allowed me to create this concept, but I don't need it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Concepts created, I can work at a higher level.
Yep.
Anything you want to add to that?
It's actually the stresses. It's the universe telling you that you're not in the right place. You're only stressed because you're not in the right place. So where is it that you're supposed to be going? And that's your inner guidance, and that takes time to develop that intuition and be able to trust that. We're told as society basically not to trust it. Don't trust basically actually, I don't think most people do trust their intuition. Or they actually get very confused where they think their traumas are their intuition. It's their fears become their intuition, and then they self-sabotage everything. Right?
Really?
Oh, I see it I see it very often. Yeah.
The fears become their intuition.
They believe the fears are their intuition, right? So, everything is what you make of it, right? So if you believe that you're being deceived, and you believe whatever it is, that certain races, sexes are negative, or you're going to be hurt, or you're going to be deceived, if you're in that negative concept all the time, and your heart chakra's closed, you're going to perceive the world differently. Like you're the victim. Right.
Yeah. And I don't
you got to protect yourself, and everyone's out to get you. And you're going to think this person's that, and this person's that. It's like paranoia almost, when there's really nothing going on. A lot of people in your life might be these angels that were sent to you to help you on your journey, but you can't see that because of the past trauma that's happened in your life.
Right. Or even the present trauma that you're creating.
Right. So it's really, it's really hard, it's really hard for some people who have really shut down and held on to those traumas, close their heart chakras, to be able to trust that intuition. Because what I always say is, when you choose to open your heart and love unconditionally, all of a sudden now love is total trust. It's trusting the universe, and everything's pushing you in the right direction. As soon as you decide to open that heart chakra, the crown chakra opens up, and you're given the intuition that allows you to speak your truth. So we operate out of the top chakras, right? We never want to, because everything in the lower chakra is about force. It's stress in life. So as soon as you start forcing life and stressing life, you get adrenal fatigue, you get tired, you get illness, right? So we want to operate on the higher realms of the chakras, and everything in the lower chakras is provided for you. It's everything that everybody wants. It's the money, the love, and the health. And they're all provided for you as soon as you decide to open your heart.
And so this is why I have you on the show. So
it's a very simple concept, but it's very hard.
It's an amazing concept.
And it's a journey. It's a journey that people have to go through.
Yeah.
That's why they're here. They signed up for these things before they came here, to learn how to do that.
Yes, they did. And if you didn't catch that, if you're listening, go ahead and repeat that. They signed up. Go ahead, talk about it.
They signed up for everything that's going on in their life right now. Now, I always say we have fate and we have destiny. Mm-hmm. Fate is what's going to happen to you no matter what. And destiny is basically, well, I'm sorry. Yeah, fate is everything that's going to happen to you. Destiny is what you choose to do with that, right? So you pick your destiny, but the fate, you can't control the circumstances that are going to happen to you. You signed up for those lessons before you came here.
So the fate are the lessons.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you saw that one. I did a video, I don't know, maybe a couple months ago on fate and destiny, and so it's a tale of two men's karma.
Okay.
And basically, what you have is one man that is walking along the side of the road, and he finds a gold coin, and the first thing that man does is he goes to a brothel and blows it. But he thinks that the universe is really looking out for me. Look how blessed I am. I've lived this great life. I'm honest, and but he doesn't really live a moral life, right? He lives a life of indulgence. So he blew the money right away as soon as he found it. And the other man's walking down the road and he steps on a nail and it goes through his foot. And most people will be like, oh my God, that guy, he must be living a terrible life. He got injured. But what that man did when he stepped on that nail is he took that nail and he walked it over to the side of the road so that nobody else would step on that nail.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't want to see anyone else get hurt. Right. But that man lived a life of really honesty, morality, integrity. So most people would think that guy, right, that stepped on the nail was just a bad man and he deserved it. But the truth of the matter is what was fated for the man that had found the gold coin, he was supposed to get an entire treasure chest of gold. But because of the life that he lived, he only received one gold coin. And the man that stepped on the nail, he was actually supposed to have his leg amputated. But because of the life that he lived in honesty, morality, integrity, he only got a nail in the foot that healed up, and he was back up to his normal life very quickly. Yeah, so we have fate and we have destiny, right? We only have control over our perceptions of the circumstances that happen to us. People in the law of attraction want to believe that we have total control over our lives. You only have control over your perception of our lives. Certain things we signed up.
I agree.
Right?
With that.
I'm
feeling emotional. Usually don't get that emotional that quickly at the beginning of the show. I usually wait to the middle.
Yeah, maybe I'm a little too deep for some people, but that's just
no. I will say this. So not everybody who watches the show knows my story, and I'll just take this time to share it real briefly. And I usually try to do it at the beginning of the show anyway. So I was a bodybuilder. I'm just going to change the viewing here. So I was a bodybuilder, weighed about 125 pounds, and I benched 185. And I was misdiagnosed and put on like 17, probably more than that, drugs. And I gained almost a little over 100 pounds in a month. The first 50 were in 2 weeks. And I was put on different clinical trials for 2 decades. And they put me on one trial with one drug and then put me on another trial without taking me off the other drug. Yes, I signed up for this before I came down here. And anybody else, and in 2013, I went on disability. And so you can see the pictures. I mean, it claimed my health, but I went on disability, and I decided I remember sitting on my couch and I said, this is not how my life is going to end. This is not how it's going to end. Because I was near dead. I couldn't move. I had well over 21 different chronic conditions. So diabetes, high cholesterol, small fiber neuropathy, trigger fingers, periodic paralysis. I had some crazy stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's all gone.
Of course, the body heals itself.
Right? It's all gone. And we have choices in the matter. And this is why I do this show, right? Because I feel it's my role in this world to be the beacon of hope, to be the light where there is no light, right? Where there's darkness, so that people can see if she can do it. Come on, I was 235 pounds.
Yeah.
And if I can go from being a bodybuilder and at 125 pounds, benching 185 for a woman of 5'4", right? That's a lot of weight, right? So I'm in the epitome of shape. I get in the hands of Western medicine, right? And my whole body gets kind of disjointed.
Yeah.
So the thing what I'm trying to let people know is you have a choice in the matter. And no matter what happens to your body's a master healing machine, and it can heal itself.
Right.
But you have a story too. So why don't you tell yours?
So I was born with scoliosis, and I had started having back pain around the age of like 12, 13 years old. And I wrestled, I played sports, I did all those things. And when I was growing up, I was a smaller kid. When I graduated high school, I only weighed 100 119 pounds. You know, I was a small kid. And
Not small anymore.
yeah, no, yeah.
Hold on.
I overcame all that. But so what happened is, you know, I had low self-esteem. I you know, I was smaller than the other kids. So I built up this facade, basically this outer shell, in bodybuilding. I wanted to be so big. So I got into bodybuilding, and I competed for years. But around the age of 23, I had well, no, actually, I started having back problems, really bad back problems, where I had my first bulging disc at like 18.
Wow.
You know, and I saw, you know, I was basically walking with a cane, and you know, slowly over time, you know, it just kind of healed on its own with bed rest, but it was never the same. I still had scoliosis, and I got into bodybuilding with a bad structure, bad frame, and it just compounded. And by the time I was 23, you know, I was doing lunges one day and I heard this big pop, and all of a sudden the next day I stood up, I was fine. And the next day I woke up and I couldn't move. And I was basically walking like Quasimodo, hunched over with dragging my leg behind me. And I walked around like that for several years. And I did all the conventions.
Years?
Yeah. Yeah. So I knew I had scoliosis. I was going to chiropractors, acupuncturists, physical therapists, healers, long distance healing over the telephone. You know, I did all kinds of things. And I was just along the way, just picking up knowledge and trying to figure out what was going on. I learned a lot of different techniques. Some of them helped, some of them made it worse, some of them did nothing. And I went and lived in Asia for a while. I lived with some Buddhist monks, and I got into yoga and meditation and things like that. And all those things helped, right? All of them helped. But, you know, what finally, I ran into a guy that was in Highland Park, Illinois, and he's from the East Coast. But he was in town, and he, you know, I was at a doctor's office looking to see what was wrong with me biochemically. I was doing blood work and everything else, extensive blood work, trying to figure out if I had some sort of chronic inflammatory condition, autoimmune thing, and I couldn't figure it out. And nobody could. Nobody had any answers, and they just want to do surgery. You know, worry about bladder control issues, and you know, and you know, paralysis. You know, my foot would swell and go back down. I mean, it was brutal. So finally, this guy, you know, he was a mechanical engineer.
Mm-hmm.
He went to chiropractic school, told the school that they're doing everything wrong. The laws of physics don't apply to what they're doing. And he said he didn't know at the time. He just knew there had to be a better way. And so he ended up getting together with an aeronautical engineer and a neurosurgeon from Europe to comprise a system that fixes 100% of orthopedic issues. Nice. So what it is, you know, the traditional method of chiropractic care that they teach at schools and you know, osteopathic schools, they teach these posterior to anterior corrections. And so you can't push on somebody from the posterior aspect of the spine, or you flatten the spine. The bone's forward. You can't push it forward and have it go backwards. So it flattens the spine, pushes the head forward, and we develop these calluses on the spinal cord. So what happened is I learned this process. I started getting treated, and my body started to unwind. I started breaking apart these calluses that are on the spinal cord, and then putting these bones back in the body, three-dimensionally untwist apart fascially, and cartilage regenerates.
Yes, it does.
Discs regenerate, right? And not to mention all the other health issues.
Loud and clear.
What's that?
Can you repeat that loud?
Oh, yeah. Cartilage regenerates if you provide the environment.
Regenerates.
Right.
Discs regenerated.
Right. Arthritis is a condition that is not, you are not stuck with.
Right? I had arthritis.
Yeah.
Honey, it gone.
Yeah.
I couldn't blow dry my hair for 20 years because I couldn't get the hair dryer up. Yeah. Do you think I have a problem now? I mean, I got
yeah. Right. So it was the mechanical component. So the way that I address things is I go into the structure, which is probably the main part of what I do, is I fix the posture and the structure, taking tension off the brainstem, because when we stretch nerves, they lose function. So if we restore the proper posture, taking tension.
Wait, when we stretch nerves, we lose function?
Yep. So, you know, if your body collapses, right here in that position where the bone's forward, all it takes is millimeters of change on that brainstem, right? That will affect your overall health. And here's where the emotional part comes in, right? So you have that brainstem tension, which is attached to the amygdala. which is attached to the hypothalamus. The amygdala is the emotional center of the brain.
Yes, it is.
Right? So that's attached to the hypothalamus, which controls all of your autonomic function, heart rate, respiration, digestion. So you improve someone's posture, taking the tension off the brain stem, their fight or flight response goes down, which means they can handle the emotions better and the emotional stress. So now if we combine the two of them and deal with the emotional triggers that are creating the fight or flight response, and we fix their posture, right? Now all of a sudden, boom, we make a huge shift in people.
Yeah.
Right. It's the emotional traumas that happen in people's lives that trigger that fight or flight response. They're running on a subconscious pattern that happened at 3 years old or 5 years old that they've repressed, never dealt with because they didn't have the tools or strategies to deal with the stress at that time, that are constantly running that pattern, manifesting the disease in their body. The aches, the pains, the
all day,
the cancer, the diabetes, the neuropathy, all of it.
Whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
So I work with emotional well-being, and with mindset, as well, like you do, and which was why I was so excited to, hear what you have to say, when you're speaking, when you're posting, however that works.
Yeah.
And I work with plants and energy, and to do for the energy, it's a reset on the neural network of the brain using sound frequency based in shamanic drumming. Right?
Yep.
That's the coolest. But in between that, I use a blend of specific oils. And this one is based on science. We know that when you use rose and patchouli and you inhale it, it takes the brain out of fight or flight in 20 seconds, right? And it's into your bloodstream in 30.
Yeah.
And so I do that to help people in between as they're on their journey. Now, I don't have to use it as often anymore, but I used it on mine, so that if you're supporting yourself in between these visits or on your health journey, right? Yeah. Because P.S., if you haven't figured out, part of the theme of life is nobody gets out of here without some adversity. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Well, here I want to add something to that, because here's the thing: as everyone says, they have all these beliefs and things that people say. They say that the only thing guaranteed in life is death and taxes, right? Which is really negative. But no, it's not true, because here's the thing: people say that, and it's really negative connotation. But the reality is that the only thing guaranteed in this life, right? And this is without getting over adversity, and that's still focusing on the negative. The only thing guaranteed in life is basically, there's two things, right? It's the moral high road that you choose to take, and the love that you cultivate in your own heart. That's all you're guaranteed.
Say that again.
It's the moral high road that you choose to take, no matter what happens to you, and no matter who does what to you. Right. And it's the love that you choose to cultivate in your own heart.
Yes.
Right. Yes. Because it's not, here's the thing is the depression, the anger, the sadness, all these negative emotions that we feel towards people that did things to us, towards situations that didn't work out. Right. It's basically, where I got sidetracked.
It's a lesson. Well, those things are lessons.
Right. But here, this is what I was going to say. So basically, those things that happen to us, they are the only thing that gave those things importance and made those things special in your life is the love that you chose to give it.
Yeah.
That's it. It's the love that you chose to give it. So when things don't go wrong and the universe is sending you a different path, somebody does something to you, things aren't working out in business, you have these health challenges, all you have to do is shift the perspective and go where God or the universe is guiding you. And
right.
And you're in the place. You're always at where you're supposed to be.
Exactly. Thank you. Stop trying to push in a direction where you're feeling all this resistance.
Right.
That's the universe telling you need to make a U-turn.
Right.
So it is 8:29. There's two things. One, our executive producer has a really good question. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post the question so you can see it. And I'm going to ask you to answer it after commercial.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Awesome.
So here's Naima Latif. She says, Grand Rising, wonderful teachers. I have a question. You say cartilage regenerates. Does bone regenerate also? And
of course.
my girls. So who is that? Who is that?
Oh, this?
Yeah.
This is Zeus.
Hi, Zeus. Hi,
he just woke up.
So I'm going to bring my girls.
Okay.
So they're also channels, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, they're magical creatures. So let me go to commercial. Zeus is so cute. Hi, Zeus.
Is his tongue hanging out?
Let me see closer. Hold on.
Is your tongue hanging out, buddy? No, that tongue's not hanging out. He doesn't have any teeth.
That's okay. He says, Daddy, I don't need teeth. Because all I need is the love that you give me. I'm an animal communicator.
Yeah. He, I tried to save his teeth. I didn't want to put him under anesthesia to have his teeth cleaned and stuff. So I was giving him enzymes and enzyme chews. Yorkies genetically just have bad teeth. So we ended up having to get them all pulled. Okay. So he's got one tooth left.
He says he's fine. He says he doesn't need them.
Yeah.
He says he's good with everything that you've done, and he says I'm blessed to have you as my daddy. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he goes everywhere with me. He's lucky. That's for sure. He rides the motorcycle with me.
Does he really?
Yeah, he goes.
He
goes to Florida with me every week or every other week. Flies on the plane.
He says okay. I'm trying to explain what he's saying to me. Give me a minute. He says, being on a motorcycle is like zooming to the moon. He goes, it's more excitement than I ever expected to ever have in life. He says, this is the most fun Daddy for taking me on the motorcycle. He goes, when can we do it again? That's amazing. Okay, let me run a quick commercial. We'll answer, and I'm going to get my girls.
All right.
Hi, I'm Jody Susan with Susan Essentials. I started Susan Essentials in 2015 because of a personal health journey. I was over-medicated and put on 19 different medications. And yes, I reversed all my chronic diseases using plant and energy-based healing. It was amazing. At Susan Essentials, we support both consumers and businesses, and we do that with helping your employees or yourself with a food as medicine mindset. How Susan Essentials supports businesses and consumers is we teach people about a food as medicine mindset. So we support people on how to support their own immune system, how to support their brain health, how to support their emotional well-being. And we do that all with plant and an energy-based healing.
The Female Solution Global Radio TV Show invites you to an invigorating conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda Speaks. Tuesdays, Self-Cell Care with Jody Susan. Wednesdays, Repairing Broken Families with Naima Latif and co-host Kareem Hamid. Thursdays, Soulful Solutions with Dr. Debbie Green. And Fridays, Health and Wellbeing with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Success Strategies with Jana. Second Saturday, Wendy Williams Esquire on relationships. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. And fourth Saturday, Wisdom with Mama D. Join us Sundays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Call in and comment 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak to the host and be a part of the solution.
I am excited to announce that the Thebaud has been upgraded, and we have new over-the-ears super comfy and safe headphones in blue for use with your bod. They are adjustable and you can set the maximum volume. They're fully compatible with all 3.5 millimeter audio outputs, and they're lightweight. We're so excited, and they're so pretty. And in addition to that, we have a new carrying case. It is a knobby, stone-washed canvas zipper pouch featuring the textured woven cotton design with the raised word hello on the sentiment. You will just love it. It's, like I said, it's zippered, and it's ready for you.
Okay, so we are back, and so we have Zeus. Where's Zeus? Oh, where'd you go? Okay, and this is Fabula and Tinkerbell. Okay, well, Tinkerbell got shy.
Look,
Hi, Zeus.
I don't know if he'll pay attention or not. We turn on National Geographic, and he doesn't have any interest in the TV and the birds.
That's hilarious.
He won't talk to me through video chats either.
Really?
No.
So, but he talks to me energetically.
Yeah, but if he if I'm away from him and I call him on video, like I have a friend of mine owns a dog. It's just a dog groomer, and once in a while, if I go out of town, out of the country, she'll watch him. And I get on video chat. He just doesn't pay attention. He doesn't look at the video.
Interesting. What he told me just now was that when that happens, he's actually astro traveling over to you where you are at to be with you energetically.
Yeah.
Is that right? That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. He's always, but I mean, if I'm around him, he's almost always got his eyes on me. I mean, in the office, he watches me treat patients.
He's amazing. He
sits there and just watches.
He's a great soul. Yeah, he's one of your. He's like a guardian for you.
I know.
Yeah.
He chases the evil away.
Yeah, he does. So
you should see. He knows which girls he likes.
That's hilarious. So my parrot, this is Fabula, which means little songbird, and Tinkerbell. When they met Andrew, they accepted him, my husband, right? So, and they don't really like a lot of men. Tinkerbell especially didn't like men because she was abused by men. But she allowed Andrew into, so that was very telling.
The animals can sense energy for sure.
All day long.
Right.
Yeah, they're smarter than we are. Way smarter than we are. People get a little twisted.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to Naima's question. Does bone regenerate too?
Of course it does. You fracture a bone and it heals, right? Yeah. There's a machine I use. It's PEMF, pulse electromagnetic frequency, right? It's basically a big Tesla coil, and it sends out a big electromagnetic pulse. And I use that for patients to help regrow. What it does is it increases mitochondrial efficiency and the cell's ability to utilize nutrients. So it'll repair bone in half the time. It'll help regenerate nerve tissue. So if people have neuropathy, you can put them on the machine and they'll actually help with neuropathy. And we know that there's no real solution out there for neuropathy. Go to the doctor, and once you have neuropathy, there's that numbness and tingling. They don't have anything for you. Nothing.
Right.
Right.
I reversed it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can reverse it totally. Yeah. And nutrition helps too. I mean, the B vitamins are essential in regrowing regrowing dendrites and nerve tissue.
So I want to speak to a couple things. First of all, I'm so glad you mentioned PEMF. I use it all the time in my practice as well.
Yeah.
And okay, so where do we start? So the neuropathy, totally reversible using diet.
Yes.
I personally had to remove all stimulants. So no coffee, no sugar, of course, no chocolate because that has caffeine in it, right? And no matcha. right? Things like that. And then I used a blend of essential oils on the bottom of my big toe 3 to 4 times a week to reverse the neuropathy. And also the back C1, C2, right? One axis time release is a time release capsule, which is the bottom of the big toe. And the number, C1, C2 sends it to every organ, tissue, and cell in your body.
Yeah.
Okay, you are chatty this morning. What are you saying? So what she's saying is she is really grateful that you shared at the beginning of the show about starting with heart, because that's always her message.
Okay.
She says everything here starts with love.
Right.
And she's complete. Okay. So my husband is saying, as you know, Jody, I repaired my torn meniscus using PEMF and essential oils. It took 3.5 weeks. After that, I had no pain and no restrictions. So we're a big fan of that. Yeah, in this household, for sure. If I had time, I'd write all the stories, but I don't have the time.
Right. Yeah. That and microcurrent. I don't know if you know anything about microcurrent.
Yes.
Microcurrent is what, a lot of the traditional protocol for physical therapy is they use electrical stem, right? So, but the problem with electrical stem, it's a difference between it's microcurrent and millicurrent, right? And so the difference is when you use millicurrent, it shuts down the pain receptors. So it shuts down nociception. Okay. And when we use microcurrent, which is not electrical stem,
I know.
Right. What it does is it actually repairs on the cellular level. Yes, so you're healing, not just mitigating the pain response, right? Otherwise, it's just short term. You're taking down the pain levels for a short period of time, and then what? Maybe it'll kind of reset the nervous system a little bit by taking down the pain receptors. But and it feels good maybe to have that contraction, right? Microcurrent, you don't even feel it. You don't even feel anything happening, maybe a tiny tingle, but it's the repetitive use of it same thing with PMF, the repetitive use of it that causes the cells to function at a much
Can I have the bod too?
Level.
Yeah. So first, my husband just came in and brought us our devices, and I want to show you a video.
Okay.
Typically don't show this video, but I'm going to show it. Okay, let me get down to. So I blend modalities. Okay, I'm a big fan of blending modalities. Mm-hmm. So let me go and do a share screen. Andrew, it may be on the floor by the bed. So let's see here. Thank you, Dolly. Okay. So come off of Mama's head. So if anybody wants to see this again, you're awesome. Thank you. So this is it's a multimodal approach. I used the Thebaud, Healy, and the Beamer, and 3 specific oil blends applied in a specific order. Okay. I'm going to open this up. Let's see if I can get past the intro. Okay. So, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
I'm really good. So, you have this really cool story about, I have this concept called the place of peace that I converted and renamed athletic rejuvenation. And it includes several FDA-cleared medical devices that all use energy-based healing, and then we also use essential oils, as you know. Tell the story about your daughter who's a gymnast. Will you do that? Okay.
Yeah. So my daughter, she is a level 9 gymnast, and she was doing a Yurchenko layout and ended up in the crack of a mat and broke her medial malleolus, which then resulted in 2 screws. And so she was very, very scared about not being able to do gymnastics again. So that's when I kind of contacted you, Jody, and said, let's talk about like the bod and the Healy and the Beamer and the oils and see what we can do. And so you were coming out about twice a week for probably 6 weeks, if not more, and then once a week for a few weeks. And we just recently went to the doctor about 14 weeks post-op, and he looked at her current x-ray and was so surprised at how well the bone had healed that he had said, had he not known she had surgery in March, he would have thought this was a surgery she had 3 to 6 years ago.
3 to 6 years ago.
3 to 6 years ago. Because there was zero, you couldn't see any break at all. There was all the striations and there's striations. Am I saying the word? Were in the bone were exactly how they were supposed to be. There was no evidence of a break. Minus the screws.
Minus the screws.
So you saw these screws and you didn't really know why they were there.
That's transformational. And I think more people need to know that they.
Okay, so I think, if anybody wants to watch the rest of it, they can. I think the message is sent, right? So let me stop the screen share. Right. It goes on for a couple minutes. We talk about using nutrition, right? But we use PEMF, right? We also use Healy. There are better and bigger and easier devices other than Healy. There are different versions of what this is, right? This is what other people don't do. Okay. There's this device called Thebaud. And what makes it different? Why are you so aggressive? What do you need to say? I can't hear you. You're talking too fast. Oh, she's a flirt. Stephen. I love Stephen. You are hilarious. She's a flirt.
Yeah.
Okay, calm down those hormones. All right. So the bod works with the cellular memory. So we're getting rid. So as you're activating, stop it. As you're activating the area of concern, it not only does a reset on the neural network of the brain, but it removes that cellular memory so you don't get a repeat performance. You know how those people who keep on injuring the same place? Yeah. Say goodbye to it. Bye-bye.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and that's really the difference. You're going to your bedroom. Okay. Go ahead, talk, Stephen.
Okay.
My goodness. She's a flirt. She's like, I've never seen her like that. Man. Stop it. Okay. Go ahead.
No, you're talking about the bod.
Yeah, the bod. I mean, so it's based in shamanic drumming. And so the bod works perfectly on its own, right?
Mm-hmm.
For emotional traumas, cellular traumas.
Yeah.
We use it to heal 50-year-old injuries, 20-year-old injuries.
Yeah.
But I was given messages from God to start pairing it with every other device. So for a person's skill set, right?
Yeah.
I pair it with acupuncture. I pair it with muscle activation technique, cranial sacral therapy. Anything that activates something in the body, you pair it with, because it does a reset.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, forgive me for using this word, it's like using steroids.
Yeah.
It's a badass.
So let me ask you a question on this one. So, the one thing is we can use energetic frequencies, right? You can play you can play certain music, right? We know music has an influence, right, on water, right? Changes molecular structure of water. Your body's 85 to 90% water, and creates a healing frequency. But what happens is just because we heal on the physical level doesn't mean we really healed, because if you still have the subconscious pattern or belief system that's there, right, it's going to be a reoccurring issue, right?
Yes.
It always tends to want to come back. So if you use a device like the Bod, it's creating an energetic frequency that will heal, but then does it really heal? Does it manifest itself some other way in the body or in the life?
No, it doesn't manifest. So the trauma does not manifest itself somewhere else in the body. So it actually gets rid of things like PTSD, and it's science-based. They did it. And that's really where the beauty is. So come on, I didn't get to be 235 pounds and without all this trauma. So I've been using this device since 2014. I love the doctor that created it. His name is Dr. Frank Lawless out of Texas. But he doesn't know how to market. So I got to sell your device.
Yeah, doctors are, like that's me, right? I've done lots of different businesses, and I'm not a great marketer. It's my gift. I can get better at it, and I've gotten better. I've gotten better at sales. You can always develop our skills, but the thing of it is like what I do just is a natural gift. It just comes naturally. I don't have to do anything. I pick it up because we've all had many past lives, and I was a healer in past lives. Most of my past lives were in Asia. And I was a healer in many past lives. So this just fits. It just falls in naturally. I have to do nothing. It just comes. It just flows, right? It's effortless. That's how you know when you're living in your sacred duty or your divine purpose, right? It just works. Can
you say that again?
And the funny thing is, every time I've gone away from it and tried to just say I'm going to do something else to make more money so I can create freedom in my life, it never works.
Yeah.
It never, ever works. And it's just like, I always have to come back to it. It's not that I hate doing it. I was just trying to create freedom for myself so I could do other passions, have more time to learn to play the guitar or travel more. I'm kind of a free spirit. I like to kind of live in other places and go different places.
I hear you.
But, I always get pushed back to it. And it's because it's what I'm supposed to do.
So, right. And so
took me a long time to get to that, right? But the reason why all these other businesses fail that other people can make look so easy isn't because I didn't have the knowledge. It's the right people didn't come on the journey to give me the right deals to make things get done. Where this is just like, it just flows. It's not have that much work. It's just easy.
Right. So that's how it is for me, where when I'm on the right path, I'm a healer as well, a medical intuitive. Most everything was, like I said at the beginning of the show, was downloaded to me.
Yeah.
And look, I don't have your science background. I don't have the science background of any of these doctors. I have science background, but not even. I probably have like a few percent of what all you doctors have. Let's be real about it. But I'm with someone
like the naturopathic degree that I have, and you can look at this at medical or chiropractic degrees or anything like that, and the things that they teach you in school are so remedial, it barely allows you to help people. It's just surface level. Everything that I learned, I always sought out mentors, right? Even when I was not doing the healing stuff, and I was doing real estate and day trading and finance and insurance, I always sought out other people that were successful to learn from them. I'll pay them because it's the fastest way to get to the destination. Trying to figure it out on your own, you can, but it's long and dreadful and painful. So you learn from someone that's already done it, and you get those tools, and you can do it faster.
Yes.
So, everything that I learned in being able to restore health to patients was learned from other doctors. I do genetic nutrition. I look at DNA and break down their genetic coding, right? And, Dr. Bob Miller, he's a genius. I mean, he's really developed the nutritional standpoint from a genetic level. right? So we're breaking down the ACs, Gs, and Ts, trying to figure out, do we have genetic modifications there that are not allowing us to metabolize fat or carbohydrates, or are we not genetically make enough antioxidants? But then what I do is I take it on a whole deeper level, and I say, okay, well, here's the genetic expression. Why is it expressed? Let's fix that. And then let's support the genetic SNP as well, right? So we support the nutritional component, we support the emotional component.
Yeah, and that's key, right?
Yeah.
You have to understand those things.
Right. And so where this becomes important is, you can be Dr. Google and go online and you can look at, inflammation and say, oh, well, I should just take turmeric, right? Or skullcap.
But what if your body has a sensitivity to turmeric?
Well, that's just it. That's where I was getting at. If you have an SLC2 gene variant, right, that means you don't process copper and iron well. And copper is very high. Turmeric is very high in copper. So because you don't process copper well, now you're building up copper in your body, which causes blood sugar dysregulation and inflammation. You make these hydroxyl radicals, which are the most dangerous free radical, that are very hard on your body and cause it to crash. So even probiotics in some people have H and MT genes. They don't get rid of histamine well. Now they take a probiotic, which produces, some probiotics increase histamine in people. And now you cause an autoimmune disease by taking a probiotic that everybody thought was healthy for them. So you can't just read and listen to the latest nutritionist on why this supplement is great.
Thank you.
Right?
Science-based nutrition.
Right. It has to be individualized. It cannot be anything other than that. It can work, yes, even in drugs. I mean, when they say it works, this drug works, it only worked for 60% of the people. Right. Those other 40%, why do they just get written off?
Yes.
And I hate that, a lot of doctors, they work with patients and they find a troubled patient and they can't fix them. And a lot of times it's the patient's fault because they disappear before you can, if you don't get the grand slam on the first shot, they run. Right. But a lot of doctors, they just keep pushing the same rhetoric and doing the same protocol. When it's not working for the patient, they try nothing different. Right. If I can't figure something out, I want to find a doctor who can. That's actually how I got to do genetic nutrition. I was doing ozone therapy with a patient, and she said she felt worse. And I was like, I don't know anybody that feels worse. I'm like, this is weird. I don't understand. I didn't have the answer because I know that, ozone kills pathogens, right? It increases oxygen utilization, increases nutrient absorption. And so she was suffering with Lyme disease. And most people I dealt with were getting better. And I'm like, I don't understand. Now I understand why, because I talked to Bob Miller and I started doing the genetic nutrition stuff. And in some people, the ozone will cause them to overmethylate. So if they overmethylate, now they end up making more glutamate, or they end up making, more peroxynitrate. And then they get more inflamed because their body's detoxification processes are blunted. So you have to first improve genetically their ability to synthesize nutrients and to detoxify and support antioxidant production. Then you can get into supporting methylation, right? That's another thing, is B vitamins. A lot of people want to take B vitamins for energy and for a whole host of functions in their body, but some people, you give them B vitamins, it'll cause them to overmethylate through the MTHFR pathway, which will force glutamate production. And glutamate is an excitatory neurotransmitter. And just from taking B vitamins, now you gave yourself ALS, Parkinson's, and MS.
Right.
From B vitamins. These people are taking multivitamins thinking they're healthy for them.
Right. And then they take more.
Right. And they take more, right? Yeah. They feel worse and they take more. Yeah.
I'm obviously not taking enough.
Yeah. Right. And so, yeah, it's the most common things that people take. That's why I tell people, don't take a multivitamin on a regular basis.
Thank you.
Don't, just focus. The basic thing you can do for yourself, if you can't afford a doctor, is just go outside, get sunlight, get exercise, and eat real food that comes out of the ground.
Thank you.
That's it. If you do that, you can do wonders for your health without even seeing a practitioner. Those things are free.
Well, yeah. And the breath, I would add to that. If you can't afford a doctor, the breath, right? Yeah. Breathe in through your nose. We have Zelda Robinson, and she actually made a comment here. So let me bring this up there. She has Grand Rising, beautiful teachers. I'm living proof of what you say because I stopped eating turkey, degenerates cartilage for her, and have less problems with my knee. Thanks for sharing. So she is a stress relief coach, right?
Okay.
On our Monday morning mindfulness show.
Yeah.
And go ahead. You were going to
say. What I'd say is, okay, well, what's the emotional tie to why turkey's debilitating for you?
Right.
So there's an emotional root behind the allergy.
To reverse that.
Yeah. Right. So that's what we want to look at. You know, and for her, if you can go into it, I mean, some sort of fear-based thing. I can check. People love, time, something with time, fear of time, and so there's something with a fear of time that's there.
You're spot on. Spot on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. So it's just a fear of time, not having enough time, not being in the right place. There's a whole host of things. She'll know what it is as soon as I say it.
Oh, she knows. She's very.
Yeah, but that's why the turkey allergy's there. As soon as she lets that go, boom, the allergy's gone. She's done.
Yeah. So Zelda is a bright light who is a lifelong learner, and she looks at herself, right, all the time, which is why she's a bright light. She's not looking to blame somebody else.
Yeah.
Like, okay, what is it that I need to modify with myself in order for me to get to the next level?
Yeah, Zelda, just tell yourself you're in the universe has you in the right place at the right time. You're always in the right place, always.
Yeah, she's a beautiful soul.
Yeah,
she's my soul sister. I love her. Yeah, So we met at the American Diabetes Association Expo. I think it was 2017 or 18. I was the chairperson, and so I met her. We just instantly,
connected. Yeah,
couldn't get enough of each other. So yeah, she's an amazing soul. So understanding that all of our bodies are so unique, and we have traumas from this lifetime and past lifetimes, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so, and using your techniques for science-based nutrition is critical, all right? And you have a different word for it, but basically we're looking at the unique makeup of the body, what your body responds to, what it likes, what it doesn't like, and then giving it what it needs.
Yeah.
What I do a little differently, it's not a difference, a yes and, okay? The yes and is, okay, we can find out what the body's not responding to and reverse the body's trauma around it from this lifetime or past lifetimes.
Yep. And then you do that to the chakra system, right?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, actually, yeah, I do it through the chakra system, but I also do it, I bring, part of it, I use the Thebaud for this lifetime, and for the past lifetimes, I use God.
Yeah. So I'll give you, I kind of fill you in on how this all works with a little bit of science, and you'll appreciate this. But basically, we have these belief systems, from past lives, the programming from this life, right? And I talked about the reptilian part of the brain. You have which is your hypothalamus, right? Runs all the autonomic function. You have your conscious brain, and then you have the amygdala, which is the emotional part of the brain. And what happens is we vibrate on frequencies based upon what we think and what we believe. So the subconscious mind is running that pattern. And the way that we manifest things down is, if you look at the synaptic activity in the brain and the way that it looks when the nerves are firing, when the neurons are firing, it looks just like the galaxies. So what happens is we have the Akashic records, which are in the solar system, that hold all the experiences from every lifetime that you've ever had. So because of that, now all of a sudden we have these thoughts, and as we go through these planetary shifts, experiences are downloaded in, which is our fate, that we now have the destiny to choose the path that we go down. So it's the energetic frequency that you choose to take on, and the love that you cultivate in your own heart, then, that shifts the destiny, or the destiny, or the fate that's actually supposed to, that can actually happen to you. So we're shifting our own reality with our belief systems, right? It
Yeah.
changes the total experience because it's just downloaded. That's it.
And it's just that simple, right? And people want to make
It is.
than that, but it's
Yeah.
not.
Right. That's why people get crazy around full moons.
I know.
You
Why
know,
do you think they're giving birth on full moons?
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, you got, you know, moves with the tide. Water moves with the tide too, and it affects everything. It affects the energy of the entire planet, but and solar systems for that matter. But you know, if things are going wrong in your life, instead of being the victim, right? If things aren't going how you plan, instead of being the victim, all you have to do is use your intuition and connect to, what am I doing wrong? Where do I need to go? Is this relationship right for me? Right? Is it something that I need to reflect on inside myself? Right? So it's or relationships, business, right? Again, it's money, love, and health, right? Why do I have this health challenge right now going on? You can take a pill and suppress it, right? Or we can get to the root of it.
Right. And then that's been so. I'll share my story around that after commercial, but you know, my journey was not simply losing weight. It was really identifying what my body was responding to and not responding to well.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, the weight literally dropped off. And yet I was eating a lot, but I was eating the foods that my body was happy with at that time because I had a test that told me so.
Yeah.
Yes, these are causing inflammation. These are
Yeah.
not. But I'm in a new journey now, and
Yeah.
we'll talk about that right when we come back from commercial. Okay.
Yeah. All right, cool.
And it looks like we have a comment. We'll do the commercial first. I'm going to run a radio commercial, so it won't be a video commercial. Hold on one second. Let's see. I'm not good on the radio commercials because there's a different. Here we go. Let's try this one.
Hi, I'm Dr. CJ of Valona Health, where we combine orthopedic medicine.
We're going to wait on that one. Hold on. So we're going to do this instead.
Welcome to Quick Click, where customers can buy, share, and earn. Meet Sam. Sam owns an e-commerce business that sells athletic shoes and running gear. Sam wants to increase her sales without increasing marketing spend, so she decides to list her products on Quick Click. On Quick Click, her loyal customers can get paid for sharing her products with their friends. Sam uploads her products to the marketplace, just like she would on Amazon or Shopify. Meet Laura. Laura is in the market for a new pair of shoes and comes across Sam's brand on the Quick Click marketplace. Laura is able to purchase the shoes and check out like she would on any other e-commerce site. After purchasing, Laura receives a unique Quick Link that she can share with friends to begin earning quick cash. Her friend Jessica opens Laura's Quick Link on her phone and purchases the pair of shoes. Because Jessica purchases using Laura's Quick Link, Laura receives quick cash in her account. After purchasing, Jessica can now share her own Quick Link and begin earning quick cash as well. But Quick Click is more than just your typical referral or affiliate platform. Quick Click rewards customers for sales they directly and indirectly influence. So, for every sale Jessica's new Quick Link makes, Laura will earn additional quick cash as well, making the potential for earning exponential. Laura and Jessica can transfer their quick cash balance to their bank account at any time, or can even use quick cash to make additional purchases in the app. Meanwhile, Sam can just watch as the sales roll in. Best of all, she doesn't have to worry about costs, since she is only spending marketing dollars when actual purchases are made. Start buying, sharing, and earning today at QuickClick.com.
With a Place of Peace pop-up from Susan Essentials, you are able to increase productivity, mental acuity, leaving you with higher energy and peace in just 20 minutes. We pop up at our office or yours. With a simple blood test and food plan, Susan Essentials will help your business, your family, and you eliminate toxins and create a step-by-step plan to nourish your mind, body, and spirit. Click here to learn more.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif. Join me and my co-host, Kareem Hamid, every Wednesday morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on the Female Solution Radio Show, as we explore that relationship that is the foundation for our society, the relationship between men and women, husbands and wives. Join our discussion as we seek to repair broken family ties and rebuild our community. Listen online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution. Call in and comment 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak to our host. Or you can join us live on Facebook at www.facebook.com/the-female-solution.
So I have a friend of mine who's watching the show, and she texted me. She goes, I need a chiropractor, naturopathic doctor like him here in Georgia. Great guest speaker, Jody.
Yeah, you know, I everybody wants me to live where they live.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, it's funny. You know, people live in the city of Chicago. They want me to move to Chicago. It's
why is that? Why is it the doctor? So remember, like, I mean, I don't know. I think I may be older than you, but it used to be the doctor used to make house calls.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing that in Florida right now. I'm going to people's houses, but
yeah,
you know, in the short term, right? Eventually, I think I have a location nailed down that I'm going to put the office in, you know, and I'm just going to go back and forth for a while. Mm-hmm. You know, have an office down there and an office here.
Yeah, and
have a home in both places.
Yeah, I have. And where in Florida are you looking to?
Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll send my friends.
I absolutely love it there.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. We went to Florida, not Fort Lauderdale, but Destin, Florida, I think it's called. I'm geographically challenged. Just saying.
Okay.
But it was Florida. It was beautiful.
Is Destin on the East Coast or the West Coast?
What?
Is Destin on the East Coast or the West Coast?
It's right on the border of Alabama.
Okay, so it's further north.
Okay, thank you. That's the best I can do.
Yeah. Okay, it's
I'll have to ask my husband to pipe in and give direction on that because I have no clue. And then Maika is piping in. And she says, Grand Rising. I enjoyed synchronized swimming. Got in a indoor pool once with too much chlorine. Since then, I'm allergic to pool water. Can't put my face in water, please advise. So I'm going to... Oh, my. Yeah.
Maika, do you also have some thyroid issues?
She does, I hear.
Okay. Yeah. So the thing is like chlorine is very similar in structure to thyroid hormone. So even showering in chlorine can become problematic for some people because we absorb it through skin, and then your body thinks you have enough T3, and it kind of shuts down that production. And so again, if you're dealing with an allergy, it doesn't matter what it is. What is the emotional root behind that? What was going on at that time, right? That forced that. It's regulating the immune system, right?
Yeah. And Maika is saying, not that I know of, but Maika, I'm going to tell you that you do have a thyroid issue. Absolutely. And if you're, so that's why at the beginning of my health journey.
So when we talk about the fire element in Chinese medicine, which deals with the thyroid and the hormones, we want to look at things like abandonment, not being sure.
Sorry, you just hit the nail on the head. Sorry, yeah. I know Maika, so yeah.
Yeah, she probably has, and if we're talking about abandonment, she probably has a little bit of hip rotation issue, so her hip probably won't internally rotate, and she might even have some shoulder issues where her humerus doesn't internally rotate. And you clear out that abandonment that's there, and all of a sudden the hip will open up, and the shoulder will open up. Frozen shoulder oftentimes is from abandonment. It's that brokenheartedness, right? It's they're brokenhearted from the situation not working out how they thought it should have.
Maika, I can't make this up. Maika, you know this, right? I didn't tell him anything about you. So
yeah, we can clear that up in one visit.
yeah, so she's actually in your area. She lives in Illinois. So Maika, I'm gonna I've got a banner here. So if you want to make an appointment with Dr. Steven Spencer, 847-372-8874. You're in Deerfield?
I'm in Deerfield. In the Chicago area, I'm in Deerfield. In Florida, I'm in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, so she's in Illinois.
Okay.
Although I'm sure she'd love to go visit you.
No, I do. Here's the thing: is I like all the emotional stuff I can do remotely.
There you go.
It's very easy to do it as you know, as just through a video chat. You know, you can shift the energetic frequency so easily.
Yeah. So please, yeah, that's huge. And we've got 2 more comments here. Hold on. So she's like, wow. And I mean, because you know, Maika called in on the show the first week. She on the first week of
yeah, and I'm going to say something else, Maika. You know, one other thing you should probably do. We patented an antibody from the University of Madison, Wisconsin, and it's called APLA2. When we're under any kind of stress, our bodies produce an inflammatory protein called SPLA. And what SPLA does is it stretches the junctions in the gut. And so now all of a sudden we get this thing called leaky gut. If it's extreme, it becomes autoimmune. And what APLA2 does is it tightens those junctions, decreases the swelling. So it allows our bodies to perform, because it doesn't have to focus on immune function, because survival is the most important thing to get rid of these pathogens. Now it can perform a whole host of other bodily functions. Like you'll utilize nutrients better, you'll burn fat better, you will synthesize protein better, so you will build muscle faster, right? Building muscle is secondary to fighting infection. So now all of a sudden, all these inflammatory markers go down. I've seen C-reactive protein go down. I've seen autoimmune markers disappear, right? Rheumatoid, Sjogren's, Hashimoto's, all those issues can disappear. So the product we patented and created is called Purova. And
can you show that to people? I'm going to make our
Purova.com.
Move it over to the side, Purova. Yeah. And so, and what's in there? Can you
what happened is the way the process is patented. It was developed by a farmer from Madison, Wisconsin, and so what this farmer was basically having the chickens just eat the cow poop in the pasture. And then what would happen is they would lay eggs, and they would crack the eggs open, and then they would lay the eggs, or they spread the eggs, egg yolk, and that they would spread it in the feed. Then all of a sudden they realized that the cows weren't getting sick, and they didn't need to take antibiotics anymore. So it was actually created for antibiotic-free agriculture, but it didn't take off, and they weren't successful. But we saw the product and said, we want the patent, and we could actually use it in humans. Right? Because if you give someone APLA2, it basically decreases swelling in the intestine, allows for other immunological functions, and it restores health in the body. So it allows us to utilize nutrients, reduces bloat and gas, repairs muscle.
How much is it?
They're $50 a bottle.
Okay. I have to get one.
Yeah, this product is absolutely amazing because it increases nutrient absorption. But so that when we gave it to people that were in trials, now these are athletes, they're trained individuals, so it's harder to get them to respond, right? But it's even better for somebody who's not even working out. It just begins working out and taking the product. But for the people that were already athletes that were working out, we gave it to them, and they put on 2 to 3 pounds of muscle, lost 2 to 3% body fat in 6 weeks with no lifestyle change.
Really?
Just because we reduced the immunological load on the body.
So I'm hearing I need it. Spirit's like almost yelling at me.
Yeah, you actually need it, and you need more than the recommended dosage. You actually need 3 pills twice a day instead of 2.
Yes, I hear that.
Yeah,
and
order it. It's absolutely amazing. The decreasing inflammation.
And I'm hearing I need to take it for about a month, and that's going to do the shift it needs.
Yeah. There's no supplement generally that you need forever, right? And then what happens is you temporarily take it. There's not one supplement that I take on a regular basis. I check myself to see what I need.
Me too.
Yeah. I mean, I have a whole host of things that are for my genetics, right? To support the genetic SNPs. And then most of the time I don't even need it, and every once in a while
you change. Why do you change what you take? Explain to people why.
Well, it could be a number of things. It could be you're going through emotional stress. It could be that you were exposed to some chemicals in the environment. You painted your house and you were exposed to some chemicals. You need the nutritional support to help your body detoxify faster, right? You're breathing in something. You traveled. You were exposed to radiation. There's a whole host of factors of why you would need excess nutritional support.
Yeah. And so our body's constantly changing. So that's why I teach people how to muscle test for themselves.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't want to be just taking, I want to go back to a conversation we had a little earlier in the show. And what we said was you don't recommend that people take multivitamins.
Not at all. No, multivitamins actually cause more problems than anything.
I know. I'm going to share a story real quick. So just feedback for you. She says she muscle tested and yes to abandonment and Perova. Yeah. Good job. So when I was on the very, very beginning of my healing journey, I still work with both of these companies, but not with the women.
Yeah.
Because they said, oh yeah, double up on that. Double up on this supplement. Double up on that. So as a result, not now. So as a result, I started having hives because I'm taking and they're all made from plants, these vitamins that I was taking, these supplements, and it had like 50 or 60 plants in each one. Now, when I did my food sensitivity test, no surprise, I showed up that I was allergic to kale. Well, I never ate kale. I never ate whatever that was on there, but it was in that supplement. Right? And so people have to remember that rotating your foods is critical. And when you take a supplement, I have to get her to stop doing that. Hold on a second. When you're taking a supplement, it's the same as eating the food in terms of your body's sensitivity or not, right? So rotating your food is critical because as we have traumas, as you know, in traditional Chinese medicine, our sensitivities are based upon the traumas that we have and the food that we eat when we're in that traumatic state. Yeah. Yes? Okay.
Yeah. Well, right. They are. And that's why you just clear that, like, the chlorine allergy, right? Or the turkey, right? That there's an emotional root behind that. And we just hit the nail on the head and it's just shifting that.
Yeah, but also chlorine itself is
it's a toxin.
It's a toxin, so it's also linked to lung health, and so especially if you have grief, which I know that Maiko had a lot of grief.
Yeah. Well, grief is from the abandonment. That's the core issue.
Thank you.
Yeah.
God, I love you, man. You got to be on the show again. You can complete my sentences anytime. Yeah. So let's go to Naima. She says, since we're sharing emotional issues connected to body pains, I have a severe case of stiff knees that erupted after the ending of a personal relationship. Is there any connection? Answer yes. Go ahead, Dr.
Yeah, so brokenheartedness deals with the vastus medialis, vastus lateralis, peroneus, tertius, and subscapularis. So, a lot of times frozen shoulders and knee issues will be related to having a broken heart. And then when those muscles become weak, sometimes we end up with low back pain too. And so it's called a cardiac low back. So all we have to do is go into that issue with the abandonment or the deception that was done to you, connect with it, and then find out if there was an original occurrence. Why do we attract that in our life? Was an original occurrence? It's drawing in the same pattern of people into your life. Clear that. And then transfer it. Like, what's the emotion we want to transfer that to, right? So let's say you have this broken heartedness and abandonment that's there, that's affecting the hip and affecting the knee. Now all of a sudden we say, okay, well, what do you want to transfer that to, right? So now we want to transfer that to empowerment and to having the conscious mind know that, that person that was in your life has free will. They can choose to be with you, not be with you. They can deceive you, whatever. There's a karmic lesson. It's just the universe is guiding you to who you're supposed to be with, right? You want to find someone that's on the spiritual journey that's there to help you ascend, not someone who's focused only on the 3D things of money, status. Those things are great here, right? But you're fulfilling the ego. You want to find a partner who sees you as a divine being through the soul and wants to help you ascend, because that's why we're all here. And that will lead you to who you're supposed to be with, and lead you to a person that's not going to deceive you, that's going to be loyal to you, that's going to be honest with you, that's going to look out for you. They don't love through their eyes, they love through their heart and their soul.
God bless you. Yeah. God bless
And it
you.
exists.
Oh, it certainly does. Yeah,
Yeah.
it certainly does.
There's people who are on that journey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. God bless you. And she's saying start with heart again. That's,
Yeah.
and that's always, that's been her message. She says way more than that, but it's been a big message for her, where, she feels that the universe, people are operating with the ego and they're not starting from heart. And she says, you're just not going to get anywhere with the ego.
Well, you do get somewhere, right? You force life through the lower chakras, root chakra, solar plexus, and you burn out, and you lose, and you end up losing everything.
You do. Mm-hmm.
You end up losing everything. Either you lose your health, you lose the finances, right? You lose the relationship that you were meant to have the blessing that was sent to you. You lose that because you're out of balance, forcing life, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like someone needs to hear this. So if what you think that you want and or need is not coming your way, be a space to receive what's supposed to come your way. There's what you want, and then there's what you need. And the universe has the distinction for you. So I'm hearing you need to pause and wait, and the universe will provide.
Every single time.
Yeah, every single time.
In divine timing, right? The universe isn't in a hurry. The universe isn't in a hurry. You are.
Right. Exactly.
Right. The success that you're looking for, the relationship that you're looking for, the finances you're looking for, they're all going to appear in divine timing. And you just have to clear out the subconscious things that are there that are blocking that.
Thank you, Maika. She goes, you two are great together on the show. Yeah, if you want to come back on the show, Dr. Stephen, I will have you on. We can talk about it after.
Yeah.
We got a couple dates. Yeah, I mean, it's like, I'll let you complete my sentence any day.
we can next time we can heal a few people right over the telephone.
So I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
Right? We do. So why don't we?
We can just do that just to give back to a few people. They're really going through a hard time. They're struggling.
Yes, please.
That are financially don't have the means to go to somebody.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I do that, and I haven't been doing it since COVID, but I've traveled all over the world. I've been a lot, like, I don't know, probably 30 different countries. And so I'll like when I was in Indonesia and I went to Bali, I flew to the island of Flores, rode up in the mountains with one of the guides, and then I treated an entire village. They were bringing they don't have access to healthcare or anything like that. They're just all farmers up in the area. And so they were bringing their neighbors and their family members. They were bringing them all in on motorbikes. They're riding 2 or 3 people on a motorbike at a time. And there's a line out the house, this dirt floor house. There's a line out the door of people just waiting to be healed. One after the other.
Yeah. So, Michelle Froge and I, she's an intuitive. We do free intuitive readings the first Tuesday of every month. So you and I can look at some dates. We'll let people know in advance. where we could do healings. Maika says she could use some healing right now. So
we'll do that. We'll do that on the next show.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. So Maika, we'll get you the dates. You'll know when Dr. Stephen will be on, and you can call in. And I know somebody else who could really use you, and she doesn't have the wherewithal to do it. So
okay, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'll make sure.
The structural healthcare stuff. I mean, they'd have to come in the office. I mean, that's really the core of a lot of it. Taking tension off the brainstem and correcting that. But it's all important. You're not going to get that over the telephone.
No.
You need to find a practitioner in your area that does that. And you can go to ABC Miracles. Jesse Jukowitz is a doctor that discovered they're basically developed advanced biostructural correction, and it is the corrective modality that everyone needs. It corrects 100% of orthopedic issues. It reverses the effects of gravity have taken on our bodies. It restores it restores health, because when you have poor posture, it puts all the pressure on the heart and lungs, and it lowers your cardiac output. It lowers your VO2 max, so less oxygen, less blood flow. If we can increase oxygen and blood flow, a lot of ailments disappear. Right? Not to mention, when we break apart these meningeal adhesions and our body pops up when our posture is good, the chakras align, the meridians line up, and sometimes the emotional stuff and the energetic frequencies that are there that are held on from the traumas, they just disappear because we're in better alignment. That happens too.
Yeah, and that's the easiest way.
There's just time to let it go. Yeah, and the one thing I do in the practice is I ask basically, God, I ask, is this person ready, willing, able, and eager to heal?
Right.
And not everybody is, because sometimes the pain and the illness serves them. And if the answer is no, I'm sorry, I can't help you. So I ask the universe, is their soul ready? Right. And sometimes I can just do some of the structural stuff and make them feel a little bit better and send them on their way. But, to get to the deep root of things, not everybody's ready, willing, eager, and able.
Yeah. So that's a question I ask as well. I also ask them, like, there was a young man, he was 19 years old, went to school in Barrington. And I'll label him because they gave him a label, not because I'll label him, not like because it's my label. They said he had autism, and his fists were like this for I guess the last 10 years. He hadn't been able to open his hands. And I went in there. I asked him, he was sitting in the car. His parents were over at our house to pick up a treadmill because we were moving from Grays Lake to Georgia. And I was called to just help him.
Yeah.
And so I went out to the car and I said, are you ready to heal? Now, sometimes I just ask spirit, but I already knew he was. But I asked him, I wanted his verbal buy-in. And he said yes. And he used the bod. We put on DDR Prime on the back of his neck, which is essential oil blend. And we used the bod.
Yeah.
And in less than 3 minutes, his hands opened up for the first time in I don't know how many years. We were all bawling.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Mindset is everything.
Yeah.
Mindset is everything. It's most everything, right? Once your mindset is in this situation where you're ready to heal and you're ready to take on the world and you believe that you deserve all the goodness that life has to offer, guess what? It's coming your way.
Right.
Yeah. So let's go to commercial real quick. And let's see what we got here. All right. Let's do this.
Susan Essentials leads you to wellness by giving you access to more than 20,000 sustainably produced nutritional products delivered direct to your door. With a Place of Peace pop-up from Susan Essentials, you are able to increase productivity, mental acuity, leaving you with higher energy and peace in just 20 minutes. We pop up at our office or yours.
All right, and then I'm going to see if I can do Zelda's Monday show. So Zelda is our stress relief coach.
Is Monday morning a struggle to get out of bed into the swing of things? Well, don't worry, you are not alone. Join us for thought-provoking, stimulating, and mindful conversations on higher learning with Zelda Speaks for your Monday morning mindfulness session on Blog Talk Radio, The Female Solution, Mondays, 7:30 until 9 a.m. Be sure and send your ideas, thoughts, comments, and suggestions. Also, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, visit ZeldaSpeaks.com and send us your info. We'd love to have you. Experience mindfulness moments with the mindfulness/stress relief coach, Zelda Speaks. And thanks for sharing the mindfulness moment tip of the day. Stay on purpose, stay empowered, and stay tuned to your next session of mindfulness on higher learning with Zelda Speaks. Make it a mindful day. And thanks for listening.
All right, here we go. So we are back. So let's talk about, again, more of the subconscious. And, you know, what I wrote when we were promoting this show was that the subconscious mind is your storehouse of everything that has ever happened in your life. And I would say in this life and life.
And previous, yes.
It's your history book. It records information, details, and makes associations to the conscious mind so we can access it later. And your subconscious also stores your perceptions, your beliefs, your patterns, habits, and emotions.
Yeah.
So that's enough to get you started, right?
Yeah. Well, then if you want to get into it, now you can get into the superconscious, which is the collective of everything, you know. So the subconscious, the conscious, and then the superconscious, right? And that's
yeah.
And each one has an inverted relationship between the next. You know, one affects the next.
Yes. And I'm getting something what they need for the show right now. So please forgive me for looking down.
That's okay.
So go ahead. So keep talking.
So when we look at the conscious mind, our intention, right? Mm-hmm. When we come together as a group with an intention, we can influence the rest of the world, right? And so it has a direct impact on everything else. So you have Buddhist monks that will go into meditation, and there's been research on this, right? Buddhist monks will go into meditation to create world peace. And that when they focus on that, there's periods of time when there's no wars, right? There's much more peace in the world. And honestly, you know, everyone right now wants to believe that there's so much hostility and there's so much, like, this is the worst the times that ever seen. And when you look at history and where we've actually come as a society, it's nowhere near as cruel. It's nowhere near as bad as it used to be in the biblical days, or in the days of or in the days of when medieval days, right? You don't see a lot of, I mean, there's violence always, but you don't see beheadings, public beheadings and hangings, and you know, none of that goes on anymore, right? I mean, maybe in Saudi Arabia and different countries, but as a collective, as an entire world, it's much less violent. People are much kinder to one another than they used to be.
Yeah, and
there's darkness and there's light. So you're always going to have, you know, the evil and the people with bad intentions and the people who are pure of heart that have good intentions. That's just
duality,
right? Yes, duality. Right there, without darkness there is no light. Without hate there is no love. You would not know the difference.
Yes, and I want to say that I think the reason a lot of people are seeing more of the violence is because they're waking up to their own love in their own heart. And so they're now more conscious of what other people are doing.
Yeah.
And because I have a comment here from Maika. She goes, how would you address the violence? that is so prevalent in the African American community. And
right.
I
that's all programming that's done in that in their culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, the music they listen to has an influence, the things that they're taught, the things that they experience in the environment that they're in. So what needs to happen is they need to be taught that, you know, just because everyone else is doing it, they don't need to fit in. They are their own individual person, right? Your faith, your belief, you know, who you are as a person, actually virtues. What are your virtues? Teach them better virtues from the beginning, and get in at the grade school level of teaching virtues. Because if they're not getting it at home, they got to get it from somewhere. I got this awesome patient of mine that's in Fort Lauderdale, and he's a retired chiropractor, and he's writing a book on virtues. And it's, I mean, get it into the prisons, you know, get it into the school system so that kids that go to detention can read it, you know, so that they wake up and realize these different virtues. And I wish I had the book here, but he talks about these different traits and qualities and stories that you should possess in life and the values that you should have, because people aren't taught these things.
No, they're not.
Right? They just see what their friends are doing and emulate because they want to fit in. They think that's what you do. There's no awareness that, you know, why we're here, what our purpose is. And then it's really just for the refinement of the soul. It's earth school. You're here to learn and grow and love and you know, experience, right? And take it back.
Yeah. So there is a lack of awareness. I do think that more people are more aware today about the good and the bad.
Yeah.
And so, Maika, I would also suggest not only is there violence in the African American community, but in every other community. But the spotlight might just be on the African American community today in this era, right? Because there's
well, this is the nature of the statistics. If you look at the statistics, and this is just fact, right? You look at the statistics, and disproportionately the amount of crime committed in society, and I'm probably going to get mad when I say this, but it's just statistics. It's just
okay.
fact.
Well, we're fine with that.
But the thing is, you know, disproportionately the amount of crime committed to the population, right? I mean, if the African community is 13% of the entire United States, disproportionately they commit more crime, right? That's just the nature of it. But, you know, that's just because, you know, they have these different sense of values and beliefs about themselves. If you teach them at a young age that they're these divine beings that have this infinite potential, you know, all of a sudden that goes away. If the parents are teaching that you're black and you're suppressed and you have to protect yourself, and the world is cruel, the world is violent, the world is going to be harsh on you, you're at a disadvantage because you're black. If you're taught that, then that's your reality. But if you're taught that, you know, color doesn't matter, you can be anything you want to be, treat your neighbor with kindness, right? Forgive those who judge you, right? If you believe all these terrible things are going to happen to you, and then something bad happens to you, and then all of a sudden you think you're a victim and you're not kind anymore to white people, and you have this prejudice against white people and think that you're this victim, now all of a sudden you're going to create that self-fulfilling prophecy. But if you can change people's lives just by being the light and being kind. If somebody believes, if somebody in the African American community, they believe that, you know, they're going to be this victim and they're going to be persecuted against because of their color, now all of a sudden they're going to draw those experiences of being persecuted and being a person of color. If you believe that, you know, being kind and shifting the perspective, like you can shift other people's perspective who are racist by being a good person, by being educated, by being proud of yourself, right? Somebody who's evil, who doesn't like black people, won't give you a chance. Just be kind to them. They might come around. They might not. It might be their time. Don't worry about what other people do. Know that you're doing the right thing. and you can shift that perspective. And it's a ripple effect. It doesn't happen fast. It's one little ripple at a time. It expands out into the superconscious, and eventually it doesn't make a difference.
So I want to add to that a yes and, right? So I grew up thinking, so I'm Christian now, but I was born Jewish, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up thinking that that as a Jew, I couldn't, be accepted by the Christian community,
Yeah.
right, or by Catholics. And so, I mean, it was a mindset. And so when I moved from Highland Park, which is a very Jewish neighborhood, to Barrington Hills, very Catholic neighborhood, the first thing that I was asked was, where was my horn?
Where was your what?
Where was my horns?
Oh.
Yeah. And so what I want to say is that what we think of most is what we attract.
Yeah.
And so, and I'm going to go back to, a long time ago, Maika. So I'm speaking to you specifically. The Black community was enslaved, just like the Jewish community was enslaved, right? We have that.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of communities that have been enslaved throughout history. I mean, the Jewish community has been persecuted against by everywhere. I mean, they're surrounded. Israel's surrounded by
persecution, right?
Right, right.
So what
Egypt. I mean, they were slaves to the Egyptians. It's
right. So
yeah.
What I'm going to say to that though is that there's a mindset that is generational, and the community at large, starting with individuals, okay, one person, one heart at a time, has to shift their deserve level, has to shift their mindset about what goodness they're allowed to have, to the point where they're not going to entertain violence anymore, like Martin Luther King, right?
Right.
So it's a choice. And that community can do it, just like any other community can do it. It's a choice of the matter. I hear you. And she's saying, start with heart.
Yeah.
Ow. That's not starting with heart. That's starting with sharp beat. She's laughing. She's like, that's funny. Sharp beat. So anything you want to add to that?
Well, I mean, I think I already kind of covered that, right?
I agree, but I just
it's just that ripple effect.
Yeah.
So it's you have to decide that you're going to be that generational curse breaker, and once you decide that you are, go out there and do it. Make the steps forward to make that difference, to make that change, and that might be your calling. That might be your part in why you're here. Is to be the initiator.
So actually, I told
don't go out and create violence, and you don't need to go out and create violence and be a protester, right? And cause havoc in society. You just have to be a good person and spread the truth, and make other people of other demographics perceive that African community in a different way, right?
She says right on.
That's all it takes is doing the right thing by others. And eventually the perception of that changes. May not be next year, might not be in 10 years, but if you choose to be that better person, the other people in the African community will want to do the same. Most people aren't leaders. They're followers.
But Mike
right?
is a leader.
And they will want to do what you're doing to fit in and to be accepted. And as soon as you make
a leader though. She's a leader.
What's that?
She's a leader, Maika, I will tell you that.
Yeah.
And I am pulling from the other show. I'm going to tell you that it is her charge to help heal the children in the world and start with your community. I know that
adults can change too. They've had a lot more programming, but they can change.
God's children. Sorry. Yeah. God's children. So God's children include adults. Okay. Be quiet. So, well, I think this has been amazing. Anything else? I mean, does anybody have any other questions that they want to add? I feel so complete. Like,
let's just close it off and just let everybody know that, you know, life happens through you and not to you.
Right. We have 9 minutes left on the show. At least, well, we have 8.
Oh,
so
okay.
we have 8 minutes left. We can't just close it off, unfortunately. But
okay.
But I will say that, life happens. So good. Life happens through you, not to you. Right.
Right. We draw on the experiences, and then it's your perception that has the ability to change your destiny.
Yeah. So she's okay, and then I have a comment. I'm going to put Catherine's comments in here because Catherine Dizotel, she doesn't know how to use the YouTube channel just yet. She says, I think she would like. She says, I would like to find a man with a doctor's mindset. I need a partner on my journey. Amazing show. So I will put that in there. But
we're all our own healers. You don't need a doctor. We're all our own healers. So the partner, the divine partner that you choose to allow in your life is just your right hand person that's keeping you accountable.
Yeah. So let me ask you, how would you suggest that people go about shifting their mindset? What's a tool that they can use?
That's the thing, is positive mental attitude is garbage, right? It's one of these things where you can think positive all you want, and nothing's going to happen until you change that programming, until you get to that core belief system that's in the subconscious mind, you know. And they wonder why things don't happen for them over and over and over, right? It's like they try to say, I'm going to be positive, I'm going to make this change in my life, I'm going to lose this weight, I'm going to be a better person, and they never can seem to do it. They fall back. There's lack of motivation. And it's not because they're short-sighted on their goals. It's because they've had programming that's self-sabotaging their life. You know, they get in a healthy relationship with somebody that actually cares about them, and they self-sabotage it because they feel they're not worthy, or they self-sabotage it because they feel like it can't be true, or whatever the case is with their programming, right? They get in pattern recognition of something triggers them of their past experiences, and somebody else did something to them, and they think it's going to happen again, whatever that is, right? You know, with business, you know, sometimes people get in their own way because they've had failures in the past. So, you know, they say, I'm going to do better, I'm going to make this business work, this sounds great. And then all of a sudden they remember the past failures. And then one day they wake up and they're like, why even bother? Why am I going to put the energy into this? Nothing ever works out for me, you know, and they just don't move forward with it. But if you're on the right path, the universe is always going to provide the right people. It's always going to provide the right opportunities to make those businesses and those relationships work.
So what I would say to that is yes, and right. So the self-awareness about what your part is in the, what is your part? Ask yourself this question: what is your part? What are you playing in the game of life, right? And are you, so when something doesn't work out, the business does
take responsibility for your life and everything that's going on, because you're attracting it.
Yeah, and stop
quit blaming everybody else and everything around you.
Yeah. So stop blaming other people, right?
Right. And don't get me wrong, there's people who are advantageous and they do things to you and they lie to you and they deceive you. And everybody's had that share of heartbreak and unethical things and unfortunate circumstances happen to them. But why did those things happen? What's the message the universe is giving you? Did it happen? Because everything has a reason. It has a purpose. Did it happen to you because you're on the wrong path and it's trying to take you off that path? Did it happen to you because you have some sort of karmic tie with that person that needed to be resolved, right? You know, but there's a reason for that, whatever that is.
So Zelda says, so first of all, let me go back to Janet. Janet No Tardinado says, such a great conversation as always. Thank you. Zelda Robinson, wow. Never heard a medical professional say that we don't need doctors.
I'm just a facilitator, right? I'm just helping you, right? You don't need someone else to do this for you. You can do it yourself.
Right. And doctors show the way. And what are doctors technically? Educators.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
I mean, I'm my own doctor. I do my own stuff, right? And every once in a while, I'll seek out the expertise of someone else that, you know, if I have problems figuring it out, right? Sometimes you might go see a medical intuitive, right? Sometimes, right? Because you can't figure it out for yourself, you know. Whatever it is, you're trying to find the meaning behind the circumstance that's going on, and so sometimes it's hard to internally self-reflect.
Yeah, and here's the other thing: that sometimes when we meet other people who can open our eyes,
yeah,
it is because we are supposed to bring that person into our field for our personal growth, maybe something else.
Yes.
So, and if they're not an MD or an MD or DC, they could still be your doctor, right? The prescription that you need for your health, which could be the mindset change, the love, the relationship, like all of that. Like this is my doctor right here. She's funny. So I have down here how people can get in touch with you, Dr. Steven Spencer. It's yoked _ Buddha is your
Instagram. I have a YouTube channel.
Okay, so you want to put the YouTube in the private chat, and then I'll put it on there, and then he can be reached at 847-372-8874. I'm gonna get some masking tape. She thinks so. You hear her laughing, right? Like. So let me get the. Okay, so here we go. So go to YouTube and you can see Dr. Steven Spencer, Dr. Steve Spencer.
Yeah, Dr. Steve
This
Spencer.
one you don't use the PHEN. Okay, so it's Dr. Steve Spencer on YouTube. He's got a great YouTube channel. I did subscribe. So I will ask this. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. Subscribe to mine. We would be grateful. Dr. Steven and I are going to stay after the show for a couple minutes after it ends. We're going to pick some new dates. And we're going to do some virtual healings on the show. All right. So God bless everybody.
Right. Look forward to being on again.
What's that?
Look forward to being on again.
Yeah, I'll look forward to having you here. All right. So here we go. Let me run the brand here. And here we go. We are ending all of those.
Thank you for using